Hello and welcome back. We are here continuing our Finland run. Last episode we started popping off really hard economically because we are getting two bankrolls now from the United States and France, so we're expecting to have a big come up here. We're expecting to, stop dishonoring our family and our ancestors with only having 210 construction and really pop off quite hard in terms of upping the construction. I know we're at a 43k deficit, but that's just a number. It can't hurt us. And also, we're passing multiculturalism, so once we get that passed, we will be able to get a lot more migrants, especially if any of these guys, which I don't think they are, end up going, they're just closed borders. Maybe we can get them to get off of the borders. A lot of these guys are our subjects right now. We got the loud car outside just kind of at the start of the video, big nice, and also if we could open up Great Qing, that would be good as well. Really, kind of anytime you're going for a super pushed run, I think that whether or not the Heavenly Kingdom happens is probably a pretty strong determinant, because the Heavenly Kingdom will have open borders, and this will allow you to get a lot of labor. If we take a look at kind of what we got going on, we have gainfully employed 2.5 million, and peasants 190k, and this is with us having, kind of a lot of provinces over here, where we don't really have a lot of construction because we have construction malices, and so this is the types of places where we're going to end up having a lot of peasants. You can see 100k of our peasants are over here in northern Sumatra, and these places we just won't have that much, kind of available I guess this is the only one, but the main point kind of wanted to draw is that we really need labor. So multiculturalism is really going to help solve that, and then we'll probably get compulsory primary school after that, so things are going to look really, I think that this is going to be a strong episode for us, and we'll have a nice come up. So I suppose things actually might not be going that well, because I was thinking that this war was going to look super, super easy once it fully escalated and all that jazz, but we are trying to defend France proper here, who has been our ally for some time now. Shout out to the Finnish Friendship Alliance, but these fronts look really, really toasted, and so I'm not sure that we will be able to hold on here, and unfortunately, if France goes down, our bankroll goes down with it, and so we will have to try and micro our brains out in regards to getting naval landings off, and hopefully they're not too good about defending HQs. We can see here that they are going to be defending here with a 5-stack against our 4-stack landing, but we really don't have that many troops, so maybe we want to do stuff like get this guys off the front and get them ready to land and try and execute a little bit better on landings, and do this microing in order to try and make it so that we can win some of these, because it isn't looking too good, and we're fighting for a bankroll here, or at least 8 more years of a bankroll from France, assuming they could stop revving. Oh no, is it all falling apart at the seams? The smart people in our country no longer think that the Finnish-French Friendship Committee is a good idea. The defeat of the French Intelligentsia in a revolution has broken the Intelligentsia's interest in upholding the Finnish-French Friendship Committee. They have halted their advocacy for closer ties with France, and we can do nothing to prevent that. We do seem to be kind of winning on the landing, except now they have a 60-stack that appears to be just kind of cruising or waiting over here, unless they're just visually not here. I think they're just stationed here. We're defending these fronts. We're hoping that we can decay them down, because they can get a force below 0 based on nothing, but things are looking really, really grim here, because France has managed to find themselves in another war, and so given that they are fighting on multiple fronts here, because they somehow started mixing it up here. I guess the USA is going to be helping them here in this one, at least. This war is, I don't think that they started this war. It does seem to be a humiliate Roman Republic in terms of the start, and then, wow, Russia's in this too. Yeah, this is gonna be pretty bad. Fighting on 2 fronts, and the war's, it's looking like it's gonna be the end for the Finnish-French Friendship Alliance, because France is gonna get annexed by the revolution. We do see a nice little exile from Belgium on Karl Marx, and I think that we would love to have Karl Marx in our nation, because in general he's going to agitate for stuff we like. He's going to join compulsory public school, or is it primary school? Is it primary? It is primary school. shout out to primary school. But we are currently on monarchy. We would love to be able to just abdicate straight to council republic, really get the trade unions in power, which is going to allow us to get their bonuses nice and big and also be more legitimate. And someone who would help with that, because he will start movements for it, or he will start some other movement, is going to be Karl Marx. And this will also marginally empower the trade unions, so we will take a nice little invite. Good thing that we noticed the pop-up when we saw it, that Belgium had exiled him, because it gives us a good opportunity here to pick him up. Alas, with the fall of France, the Finnish-French friendship alliance is no more. So it's possibly the case that we overexpanded a little bit in India here, because this is becoming really painful for us just in terms of maintaining enough convoys. And as we look at our budget, and as we look at, where our budget's going, we have 100K to construction. Normally this is the lion's share of the stuff, and you see the government wages here really, really, really high, and we see that, okay, to be fair, we just added up to 30 Stack University, and this is part of it, but we're also paying out 23K to the ports specifically, and the ports are something that's very expensive for us, and we do have, an additional 16K for steamers, and even still, we don't have perfect market access. We're trying to achieve it. That way we can reduce autonomy on these guys. They currently are getting, increasing liberty desire. Part of this is that they have low strength in terms of supply network, and we really want to be able to reduce autonomy on these guys. I think we just reduced autonomy on Oman, and if we can reduce autonomy on them, we can get both more convoys from them, but also start to get money for them and use that money to build up more convoy strength, this type of stuff. So this is kind of what we'll be looking to do and focus on. It really is kind of painful, because we would have been adding a whole bunch of construction, losing that bankroll that we were receiving from France. And so it begins. China may not have open borders, but Great Britain does, and Great Britain, took a massive chunk of China, which we are going to be the beneficiaries of now, because we get a mass migration of Han Pops, which is, if you're going to have a cultural community form, Han is probably overall the most useful one. Shout out to the Bengalis here. And so we are going to be really popping off now in terms of migration. In Uizma, we have 4.1 million Pops, really, really having a lot there. They are also getting a mass migration, which is going to be very, very substantive. We are getting weekly migration of 4.17K. This is annual growth. This is weekly growth here, which is, they should be standardized and be kind of the same thing, whatever it is, but okay, fair enough. And this is going to allow us to kind of come up really, really hard. You can see there are unemployed. Those are the new people coming in. And if we take a look inside the buildings, if we look inside, we see buildings are currently downsizing because they don't have enough available employment, and we're using all the labor-saving PMs. We are desperately in need of getting people here, and it is also critical that we build out of places that are connected to our market by land, because this is going to make it so that we don't have to pay as much in convoys. We really wish that Sweden was independent, because then it would be inconsequentially easy for us to form, the Scandinavia here, but because they are a subject of Prussia, and we can't really fight Prussia that easy, and Sweden would have a land border with us to give to Prussia, we really can't do a lot here until we're strong enough. We were maybe going to be strong enough with France, except we lost our friend, and our friend had a revolution. They were, our friend, we thought we knew who they were, but then they changed. And by they changed, I mean they rivaled us. So this is kind of a little bit of a bad situation for us as well, considering we already wanted to rival and decided to rival Russia. You really don't want to accumulate rivalries. You want to have friendly relations with foreign powers. We also damaged relations with Prussia to the point where we could declare war on them, because we wanted to have that open. So that leaves just Great Britain, us having a good relation with, and Austria, us at least not having a bad relation with, and USA us having a fantastic relation with, because they're bankrolling us, but we would like to have the GPs like us more. And so kind of this episode started off with really high hopes, but now it's starting to feel like a little bit of a squeeze here. So we established the Nokia company, which is a pretty nice kind of endgame company. I'm not sure if I think it's the best power plant company, at least in the early phases of the game, where there's one in Lima, which will give you 5% state construction efficiency, but we currently don't own Lima, and eventually we will need the power. But in this way, we can really, really juice up our logging camps and also our paper mills, and I think we might just start pushing paper a little bit. Even though here in the capital, we don't have any sulfur, we can push paper in the capital and then just look to export it. So I think this is what we're going to do. We're already on auto expand, and we're just going to take a quick look at if we can export any sort of paper. Now that we just slot in the company, if we let the game think for a second, we can export it to Qing and also to Bengal. So we will start getting on this and start focusing on this a little bit, and maybe we have some places we can build sulfur. The real problem though, in which sulfur is an input, I guess we could build some in Kola. The real problem is all the sulfur over here is really going to start contributing a lot more to the convoy pain. And to be fair, we now have 2,500 in trade routes, so this is getting helped a little bit, and we are going for Macron, and we're going for just straight up annex Macron here. And the main reason why we want to annex them is just because, okay, well, we want an adjacency with Persia, so we can trade with Persia easier. We want an ingress into the Sikh Empire for pops, and also this is going to give us a spot where we can, instead of having a subject, we can make use of the ports ourselves. So it's going to give us a little bit more port basis, while also being a state that has iron, so we can put construction sectors there in a pinch. So we have been looking for an opportunity to join in on the same side of a play as Austria-Hungary because we want their help beating up Prussia, and now we have a good one where it's just an arisen revolt. They want to help out, and we want to just be on the same side of Austria-Hungary, on the same side as anything, because we want this wary, we want this frown to turn into an upside down, as it were. This is going to make it easier for us to get trade agreements with them, which of course is something we want to do. We're not that, well, we're kind of far off, but this is going to make it so that we also want to improve relations with them. It's going to make it much, much easier for us to be able to declare on Prussia and have Austria-Hungary help us, which we absolutely need. And so hopefully this gives us a little bit of an ingress for Scandinavia. Also, I think we bit off more than we could chew here with this war here too. We haven't acquired too much infamy, so it's not that big a deal. But Qing sided against us in a bit of an uncomfortable spot. We're going to try and peel a Mur off of Qing just because it was only a few infamy to put in. I don't really think that it's likely that we can enforce this, but if we can enforce this and war reparations, this will be really nice. We're also not expecting Java to side against us. We didn't realize that they were kind of an over... Why is he allowed to get to that front, man? Why is that allowed? Someone needs to call an adult. I don't think he should be able to get to that front, but we'll put all these guys on defense here. He doesn't have military access through here. It's because this is North Borneo, and he is just allowed to teleport in here because military access doesn't exist, except when you're the player, you don't get to do this, generally speaking. So that is a bit unfortunate. We were just going to say we're just going to be able to enforce what we want kind of either way here, but as long as none of these spots are incorporated, which it looks like they are not incorporated yet, it's going to be very, very hard for the primary war goal of Finnish war reparations to get enforced. So at the very, kind of worst, we end up white piecing out on this war, even though it looks like a bit too much of a war for us. So Qing didn't really like defending Manchuria HQ, so we were able to land up here, but unfortunately, we can't assign anyone to the front. That is just very awkward. If we take a look here, there's no valid deploy to front. For whatever reason, we can't assign here. I don't know if it's that they don't have a port here. Is there just no port in this province? And you just can't land in through here. I'm not really sure what that's about, but ooh, trade agreement with the Ottomans, we like that. But we are getting kind of a little bit wrecked in this war, but none of this is for us incorporated, and so if none of this is incorporated, then this means that we don't really have to worry about them ever enforcing, the other war goal of war reparations, and instead we can just look to do a lot of cheeky landings, and eventually in this way find a way. Unfortunately, this guy got yeeted back to Finland. We hate that, but I think that we're going to be able to find a way to push in here on our initial war goals and maybe time Qing out. It looks like Qing's going to eventually make it up here, but if we re-land a Mur over and over and over again, maybe we could get in. point. Maybe we should have put in war goals. We're currently not losing any infamy. Maybe we'll look for some sort of war that we can declare here that will be somewhat productive, but also we're already stretched really thin. So we get a little bit of insult to injury here. Not only did our friend die earlier in the episode, our friend of normal France, the French Republic is also trying to humiliate us when all we wanted to do was conquer Bampur. Bampur is a fair enough, it's a nice enough state, and we're thinking of incorporating like one of these down here that has a decent amount of arable land, just for the purposes of moving the capital here, or moving the trade capital here. I think it'll be much better positioned over here than it is back in Finland. But it's a little bit hard to say. And we have managed to pull the UK in with us, and so this war should be a bit interesting. We still haven't finished this war. We wanted to declare another war just so we could keep the infamy chugging, but we are in good shape doing a little bit of front spaghetti, combined with the fact that Qing is now occupied with Great Britain, which means Great Britain will also be occupied with that rather than helping us. So that is something for us to kind of think about. We do have a war goal on France, who has sided against us in war reparations, and we put in a ton of war goals with the hopes that they back down here. Also, you know, just kind of wanted to point out how little chill Great Britain has. They've conquered enormous swaths of this down here, and now they're going for Yunnan. That was the primary war goal. They're like, we need to nom some more China. But look at this. They do like a little bit of a border war here. They do have an enclave as well, rather than, you know, take Nanjing and, you know, connect the dots. They're going for Yunnan, which, to be fair, Yunnan, very strong state. It does have a ton of coal and iron, so, and wood, and can also make opium. So I think we're going to do something that we don't really do too often, or I don't think I've done before, which is we're going to go freedom of movement, but just for the migration quota, we're just going to go freedom of movement 1 before we go external trade 2, and just try and get, because, I mean, we have plenty of Diplo. We could also go construction, but since what we're really hurting for is pops, and we already have multiculturalism in, I think that, man, mass migration attraction, we might just go full migration here, because I think that will really benefit from it. So we're just going to go freedom of movement 1, with the idea of just staying on freedom of movement 1. We do want to go colonial, the colonial offices, so that we can get cheaper annexations on these guys, but we're not really close to annexing them. And so the migration is going to allow us to employ up all these places that currently have unemployment here in the capital, which is not as many as there were before, because we are pulling in a lot of pops, so I guess there's that. Oh wow, we're up to 6 milli? Well, shout out to migration. It's really actually popping off quite hard then. So maybe we didn't even need that. Maybe we were fine without it. This war is going okay, and we're also doing a little bit of a cheeky thing. Because we are on the same side of a play as Great Britain cannot side against us in a play, and what we have done is we have declared on Hejaz, and so Hejaz as overlord is Egypt. Egypt automatically get pulled in. Egypt is a subject of the loud car outside, but also more importantly, they're a subject of Egypt, and we want to go after, in particular, we already put in the interest here, we want to go after Sinai. Now, we couldn't go after Sinai with Great Britain defending them, but we can go after Sinai with Great Britain helping us out in another war, so this is going to be good for us. We just need to put in the war goal on Sinai, and everything should be pretty good shape for us. We do have to watch out for people siding against us, but we're in good shape, and almost certainly we can pull the Ottomans to our side. Looks like they would have only sided, wait, they really won't side in, the Ottomans, for return state CB? That's a little bit wild, but we should be able to enforce that on our own. We're just trying to keep the infamy rolling, even though we're still involved in the Java War, technically. The plan here is to eventually try and cheese a landing here, but we're going to try and enforce on this one first. We are really kind of juggling a lot of wars here, though, considering we should enforce on France any second now, or pretty soon, because we do have war reparations, or we have all we need for war reparations, having taken Corsica, and so that's going to be good for us, and then we are pushing pretty well here. In fact, we might even, let's actually, 500, yeah, they full mobilized for the China thing, and they don't demobilize, so we actually don't need them, we don't need their help. And I think we're going to use these guys instead of landing here in Fars to enforce on this faster, because the UK is helping us so much. I think we're just going to cancel this, and then we're going to use our one big kind of army to land here in Finland, or not in Finland, in Ecce, well, it is Finland for us, and look to pull all the people from both Great Qing and Java here so that we can land land up here in order to enforce on Qing, and also land on the Java's capital in order to enforce on them. Really kind of a weird sort of juggle here, and then we're going to add to the juggling this fight with Egypt, which we might even want to put more infamy of stuff in, that way we just don't have to declare even another plague. Our people want to shake the yoke of Swedish oppression. Too long after our overlord gave away our land, because overlords always do that and it's hyper annoying. Too long have we waited to get back our land, and now we can do this by siding with the Finnish uprising. Now, okay, Prussia might side with them. If that happens, I guess we'll shrug our shoulders and fight it. But I'm also not entirely sure what happens here now with Sweden on the other side of a play as us. We don't take over the play. They're fearful. They might back down. We just might get this for freezies, good dealsies. Pretty sure the Finnish uprising automatically kind of merges with us. But if they don't, we can just go after them. And also, we've decided to go after these guys, not because they have any strategic or kind of importance or anything like, or actually because they only have tactical importance, because we have been having a hard time getting a landing in on Java, but we won't have a hard time getting a landing in on these guys here. Actually, you know what? Let's not land with these guys. Let's land with the big stack. And so in this way, I think these guys just got punted. They did just get punted. So we'll land with our 50 stack over here, which should be good, easy times. And we can take the heat of having to fight Prussia, but also, is Prussia? No, Prussia's pushing here. We thought about declaring yet another war over here for freeing Sweden, but that just seemed like a bridge too much, because we're still at war with Egypt, but we haven't done anything about it. We're still at war with these guys. We're trying to finish this up. We're trying to make some landings happen. We have expanded the size of our army, or we're currently doing that. We're expanding the size of our navy as well, because we just can't get these landings in against a force that's actually defending navally. Where are you going? Where are you going? You're going nowhere. Come back here. And so hopefully we can get in here. Yeah, this should get in instantly, and then once we get in, then we will have a front with Dear Java, and we should be able to push Java. Now, I'm not sure we should push Java. I think what we do is we just sit on this front, and we hope that Qing reassigns, because if Qing reassigns, then we can still get a Mer up here in the north. So there isn't really too much of a penalty for us sticking in this war, because they're not raiding our convoys here, but I think we're semi-giving up on this Java Qing war, because we just can't manage to land in on anywhere. It would have been different if we still had a front in Borneo, and this is probably our error, is actually pushing them out of Borneo, made it so that they're just staying at home and defending all the HQs, and we don't have like 100 stack army with which to actually land these guys, and we instantly got punted out of here when we tried to land through there, and so that strategy wasn't very effective, so we're kind of turning our attention over here. Now, that's a little bit awkward when the Intelligentsia is preserving monarchy, but it do be like that sometimes. But we might end up preserving monarchy in that case. But we are able to get in over here. We have done a few cheeky landings, a few cheeky movements here, and I think we're going to get in on Egypt, and we have to be very quick to get in on Holstein, because we started this war in brain dead mode, and we didn't realize that the USA was had a defensive agreement with them. Maybe that's just like visually not clear when they had their independence guaranteed, but we looked and it looked like no one was going to side against us, and now we have to fight the USA, which kind of sucks. The USA is still going to pay us oh, the USA is not bankrolling us anymore, but the war reparations from France are really helping out. Our economy's kind of gone deep into the gutter here. Oh, we have like no authority because we're swapping. That's why, yeah, these guys are really punted out now. They are big madge, but we will have to rake back some authority here as well, as try and enforce on Holstein as quickly as we can here. Man, oh man, is this event obnoxious. We get the dubious claim event. UK has a claim on Sinai. We literally just enforced for Sinai, and we either have to turn it over for absolutely no sort of compensation, or we have to gain 14 infamy. I think we're just going to gain 14 infamy, but this event is just so, like, we hates it. what we do love is that we did get back some of our homeland. We decided to keep Sinai. I really think us being able to ship convoys through here is going to help alleviate our economy quite a bit, and that is starting to get into super Hertzville. In fact, I think we're going to, seeing as we don't have a Rev brewing now, and we have had a Rev brewing in a lot of kind of situations, we've just ramped out the army and navy kind of ahead of our economy, I think, a little bit here. And so we're gonna tune back the construction a little bit. We're not going to tune back the army and navy. We're just going to keep it as is, and we are going to get a landing in here now that we have a much bigger army. And so once we have that kind of situation, maybe they'll pull off of here, or we can get enough guys piled on here that we can get something done, make some sort of move. At the very least, I think we can enforce on these guys. I don't know if we can enforce on Qing here. As long as they keep this 19 stack in Manchuria, this is going to be a little bit complicated for us. We could try and coax them out of Manchuria by just trying to do a landing here, just to pull them away from Manchuria, and maybe we do that. I think we're just defending here. We're not just defending. We're going to swap to just defending. We are on trench infantry, so with these guys just defending and us currently having an advantage, it's very unlikely that they can push into us and they'll just meat grinder their troops down, so that works for us too. We do notably have this, so we could enforce for war reparations, but yeah. We also are going after Schleswig because we do want to kind of unify the Scandinavia, and so this is a province we'll have to take eventually, and so this will also give us an adjacency with Denmark, which currently is subject of New Granada. Shout out to New Granada, making some moves. Looks like they have not moved anyone over here. So maybe we just try and see if we can land in Amur. Really hate that we actually can't establish a front in Amur. Every single time it just yeets our guy off the front, and we would have had this. We would have actually enforced on China pretty readily previously had we been able to actually stick onto this front, but for whatever reason with this province it yeets us off of them, and we are wholeheartedly, because we are trying to get an achievement this run, we can't just swap sides and capitulate just to kind of correct the game not functioning properly, because even if this guy gets in, he's going to get yeeted off the front, and it doesn't look like he's going to get in because they're moving guys over, and they are not supporting. We were hoping that China might support Java in this endeavor here, but it looks like they're not. So what we're going to do here is we are going to land these guys in West Java instead, and probably just end up white piecing China while we'll just end up white piecing China here. We also, let's start incorporating this bad boy here. It's going to take us a long time, but I think that, do we incorporate it faster with the claim? Let's also do the journal entry for survey the isthmus. Let's actually not do the journal entry just yet. We are in a bit of economic struggles here. We are doing the skyscraper survey right now. Once we finish the skyscraper survey, then we'll swap on over. Let's see if we have anything tax. Okay, so we're trying to make some moves. We're starting to get all these wars cleaned up, and we've acquired a huge amount of debt in this process, and we have been meat grinding our people down. So our economy's been stalling out a little bit, I think, as we've been taking a lot of losses, trying to make some maneuvers and moves to win this war. That's really not worth too terribly much other than the war reps we would get off of Qing, but we're not going to get those. Alright, this is our last chance to enforce this war, because now we are getting ticked down because they don't have any war goals on us. We managed to land back here in Macau because it's easier for you to land your own stuff, or they don't defend it, they only defend their own stuff unless they specifically partition to the HQ. We landed up here, and now we are trying to get in a final landing up here in Manchuria, and so whether or not this 69 stack gets in or not, this will 100% determine whether or not we can enforce on China. And after they get in, if they get in, they will immediately be yeeted from the front, because for whatever reason we do get yeeted off of this province, and we cannot properly land Amur. So here's to hoping that we get in, but it's looking really doubtful considering the situation. Yeah, it's looking like this is not it. This is not the sauce. Oh, but they will accept this because they... Okay, well, that's fine. we won't get that, but we will get war reps, so that'll feel really, really nice for us. And now we have to tidy up all these revolutions that we currently are having with all of our subjects, which, to be fair, we enforce on eventually if they don't actually occupy. And a lot of these are exclave revolutions, kind of in this area, because, you know, this is how it's gonna... Is that... Yeah, so that Nagpuri revolution will eventually just get annexed without us intervening. And so we will begin the long sort of cleanup phase following what was kind of a really long war path, just because we had to keep declaring wars because our infamy was decaying. But now, because we got a ton of infamy for no reason here on Sinai, now we can chill and we can, you know, kind of regroup and stuff. So we cheekily sided on the side of Nama, which is a tag we really haven't seen before, or not often enough that we recognized it, when they kind of rose up against Cape Colony, because we saw that the UK wasn't involved in that, and so we'll take those. I wonder if this was the result of the UK revved and the UK reset, and so we're trying to improve relations and do this type of stuff and eventually get a trade agreement with them. But I wonder if it has anything to do with that, why the UK didn't help them against their native uprisings, or if they just don't help it with native uprisings specifically against subjects. But in any case, with Nama free, that is going to make it much, much easier for us to find an area to ingress. We have been kind of shut out of Africa quite a bit here, and so I think that we're probably going to go for this province here, which will allow us to get on Transvaal as well as be able to colonize in here. We have malaria prevention. This is just the only spot that we were able to get, and so while we're colonizing fairly quickly here, we're still going to get a pretty small share of Africa, as it were. But anyways, I think we're going to conclude this episode here. This episode had kind of a lot of fighting, stretching ourselves thin militarily, really, really rough. We started this episode with high hopes. We ended it with dejected spirits because our good friend, of the French-Finnish Friendship Alliance, France died and was replaced with someone we didn't really know. Now they're just someone we used to know. Now they're the French Republic. Blah. Long live the monarchy here, like we have with Gustav Carlson, who, to be fair, we can get semi-legitimate with the Industrialists as a king, so it's not that bad. And if you look at like the situation with the clout, this is actually like super ideal, where we have the opportunity to have double IG bonuses on the Intelligentsia, who they're powerful even though they are down a little bit. You know, the Industrialists, the Petite Bourgeoisie, and the trade unions. So it's possible that we should just stick on this even though we're at contested. Probably not. We probably do want to go parliamentary at some point. But yeah, that was kind of the episode. We lost a friend. Big sad. I hope you enjoyed, though. If you did, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, do the YouTube algorithm thing, and other than that, have a good one.